Yo, what's up everybody? I want to complain a little. Yes, this is going to be a complaining video. What am I complaining about? I'm complaining about the Dota arcade. Let me show you something fun. So here's the arcade. You can see this is kind of the front page here. Now, we have this open lobbies list. And this lobbies list sorts by how many lobbies are open, right? The more open lobbies, the further up you are on the list. Now you may notice something a little strange here. Fantasy WESTWARD Journey has 75 open lobbies. Well, okay, how many players does it have? It has 2,800 players. I guess that kind of makes sense, right? Like that seems like a lot of players, so a lot of open lobbies make sense. We've got Aram, Dota 2 Aram, has 847 players. So it's got 75 open lobbies. So for every lobby that's being played, right, for 10 players, there is an open lobby right now. Okay, that's a little strange, but okay. BSA App 2, 75 open lobbies, has 435 players. So in other words, for like every 6 players or so, there's an open lobby. Okay. Endless Defense Adventure, 300 people playing right now. 75 open lobbies. So for every 4 players, this game has an open lobby. Now it's a hero defense for 1 to 5 players. So if we have 5 players in a lobby, then currently there is more open lobbies than there are lobbies being played. Right? Because there's 60 games being played approximately, if we assume that it's always 5 players, and there are 75 open lobbies. Well, that's a little strange, isn't it? Another strange thing is the number. Why are there so many lobbies with exactly, or so many games with exactly 75 players? That's odd, isn't it? Okay, good. We got some here with 74, 74, 74, 73, right? 69, nice. And then we dip a little bit, and you can see it's a little less consistent down here, right? Until we get to some lower lobbies, right? So that all makes sense, right? There's going to be games that are less popular, and then there are games that are more popular. So far, that makes sense. Wait a second. Why is Atomic War down here? Isn't that strange? Did it die? Does it just not have any players anymore? It's got 3,569 players. That is the most we have seen so far. Right, out of all the games we have looked at so far, Atomic War has the most players. And it has 3 open lobbies right now. Wait, that doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it? Where's Auto Chess? Let's have a quick look here. Right, so this is the most popular games this week, and this is kind of like the most popular games list. You can see Auto Chess is at the top. It's got 6,600 people playing. Auto Chess is always at the top. Auto Chess is, since it's been released, it's been the most popular custom game. Auto Chess is the king of the arcade, right? Even to this day. Atomic War got pretty close for a little while. Right now it's sitting at 3,569 players, the 3rd most popular game in the arcade. Makes sense. So Auto Chess is still the most popular though. All right, let's have a look. Can we find Auto Chess? Chat, you yell if you see Auto Chess. Okay, let me refresh this. All right, Auto Chess, Auto Chess. I can't find it. All right, you know what's really convenient? We can go. Wait, is it? Did we find it? Is it here? Oh, I can see it. I don't think I can see it. So if we go into the lobby list here, right? Like I can go in here and I can say Dota Auto Chess. Oh, it's got no open lobbies. Oh, if we just type in Auto Chess maybe. No open lobbies. Okay, Atomic War is here though, and you can see there's like 4 open lobbies. How come that the most popular game in the arcade has 0 open lobbies, and the 3rd most popular game in the arcade has 4 open lobbies? That doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it? When there are games like, BSA Episode 2 with 75 open lobbies and 400 players. Allow me to show you something else. This right here is the lobby list. This lists all of the lobbies that exist for every game. So you can see these are all of the lobbies for Dota 2 Aram. Ha! Well, that's a little strange, isn't it? That's a lot of 1 out of 10 player lobbies in Japan. That is a lot of 1 out of 10 player lobbies in Japan. Wow, okay. All right, well, that's unusual, I guess. Okay, here's Dota Card War. Huh. That's a lot of 1 out of 8 lobbies in Singapore. Okay, there's What the Fuck Reborn. Ah, there are 1 out of 1 lobbies in Stockholm? Why are there so many 1 out... What is even a 1 out of 1 lobby? How does that even work? That's bizarre. Okay, there's a proper one, 8 out of 10 in Dubai. But then there's just a bunch of 1 out of 1s. There's Demon Hunter, 1 out of 10 testing map in Singapore. Huh. Okay. Anime, 1 out of 11 in South Africa. BSA Episode 2, all with the description BSA 2, 1 out of 1 in Singapore. Wow, that's a lot of them too. Wait, how many lobbies did this game have again? 75 open lobbies. Well, I can see where they are. Well, isn't that kind of funny? Apologies. 1 second. Sorry, I'm a little sick still. So, you can see that there's a lot of open lobbies that look like this. 1 out of 1. In South Africa or Singapore, those seem to be the most popular. All right. Sometimes they even have all the same description. EDA. Now, when I'm hosting a lobby for a custom game, right? If I come in here and I want to host a lobby for this, I can add a description. You don't need to, right? Like completely optional, not required in any capacity. Most of the time, people don't do this because there's not really much of a point. So the fact that there's a whole bunch of lobbies, all with the exact same description, that are all 1 out of 1, hosting the map new in South Africa for one custom game, is a little bizarre, isn't it? That's a bit strange. And this is all of this. This is all you can see. 1 out of 1, Singapore. Right? 1 out of 4, Singapore. 1 out of 4, South Africa. 1 out of 5, South Africa. 1 out of 4, Singapore. What's going on here? Let me explain. These lobbies are being botted. I think you figured that much out on your own already, right? That's pretty obvious that they are all being botted. This is all bots, like none of these are actually organic lobbies. The way this is set up is that usually there's a few organic lobbies, like you can see these right here are probably normal. So there's like one for autumn, spring, right? They've got these right here, 13 out of 6 in Singapore, right? This is actual player lobbies. And then they have a bunch of lobbies that are like 1 out of 2, something like this, that are set up in a server where people don't usually play the game, so people don't accidentally queue into it, or they're set up in such a way that people can't even queue into it because they are full, because they are 1 out of 1 lobbies, right? There you go. Like, I can't queue into this lobby because it's a full lobby. So what people do is they set up 74 lobbies that are like this, that people don't queue into, that are hosted on a server where the player base isn't usually, so people don't accidentally join, or they just make it 1 out of 1. And then they have one normal lobby, one lobby where they actually expect people to join. Right? If we can find one for this, I guess I can't. Well, that one is probably just finished. Either way, that's the core idea behind it, right? You have some, like one or a few actual lobbies, and then you have a bunch that people won't be able to join or won't be joining when they just click play. What that does is it pushes you to the top of the list. Now, you might wonder, okay, Baumi, why 75? Why are all of these lobbies 75 with your conspiracy theory? It's because it's the maximum. It's the most you're allowed to have. I would bet if there were more lobbies than this allowed, then people would have a higher lobby count. But this is just 75 is just the upper cap. Does it now make sense why there's so many lobbies here with 75, 74, 73? Right? Troll vs. Else 3. And I like this game. It's a cool game. 200 people playing right now, 63 lobbies. This is a 16-player game. Right? 16 players. So that means that it's effectively we have 12 games going on right now. And 63 open lobbies. I mean, come on. Right? Like, now, this is where I want to kind of like clarify something. This is where it's a little bit difficult for me to like take this negative energy and direct it at somebody specific. our obvious thing to do right now is to blame somebody, right? We want to blame Valve, we want to blame the people botting, and to be honest, there's some merit to saying that. But here's why it's a little bit tricky. This right here is the Save Custom Games kind of letter to Valve that was released after the Frostivus Custom Games contest. That contest was a complete disaster and people were really mad afterwards. And Valve, they weren't in good standing. So some folks took this as an opportunity to see if we can get Valve to change the system. Because at the time, the arcade looked a little bit like this. You can see right here. Right? It had this top 10 list, and the top 10 list was just kind of what dictated what was visible. The higher something is in the top 10 list, the more visible it is. Right? That's just that simple. And the top 10 list was just purely player based. So the more players you have, the higher up you are on the list. The difficulty with that system was that it is incredibly hard to actually get on the list, right? Like you tried and you just couldn't. It was just really difficult to actually get in there. So this is what was suggested in this letter. Now, this is where I have to take a little bit of blame myself, although I will immediately weasel my way out of it. I did also they gave me the Lotus Orb. I did also sign this letter. Although I do want to say that at the time, when I saw it, I complained about this. I said this is a stupid approach, this is not going to work, this is going to lead to problems. And I was ignored. But I agreed with the rest of the stuff in here. Right? There was other stuff in here that is also important, that is helpful, and that I agreed with. So I kind of like wanted to be on the same, like I was like, okay, I don't like this. This is stupid. But I will sign because I want to agree with everything else. So the idea behind the system was that lobbies dictate players like wanting to play the game. So the higher up you are on the list, the more people can join, right? This is not significantly different from just a top 10 list, which is why I didn't like the system. But, that was the core idea. The problem, of course, is now that we have this. People are just botting it to the top. Now, as I mentioned, we can kind of blame Valve for this, but Valve did actually at the time just implement the system that people suggested. The thing that they can take blame for is for allowing it. It's not subtle. I mean, come on. Come on. Chat, does anybody here actually believe that this is not just being bots? That this is not just bots? Does anybody here actually believe that this is genuine? Right? Like, right? This is not subtle. This is blatant. So that's kind of like where you could say, well, Valve should do something about that. And yes, I think that's a fair argument. Valve should do something about that. But in the end, they did just implement the system that people asked for. And the system was just fundamentally flawed. It was stupid system. The way it really should have worked is that the lobby should decay over time. Right? Is that basically like it should weigh the lobbies based on recency when they were opened up. Kind of how Reddit does it. Right? Where when you publish something on Reddit, and it gets upvoted, then that is valued highly. But if you upload something that was published a while ago, then that's valued less. And there's kind of this like pushback, this dragging, this effect that drags things down from the list just because they've been up on the list for a while. That would be better. But even that would still not be the best system. I'm not here to suggest a solution to the system. I'm here to complain about a problem. Now, what is the issue with this? You might say, well, okay, cool. I guess if this is the standard, right? Everybody has 75 open lobbies, then why doesn't everybody just do this? Well, first of all, because not everybody has access to this stuff, right? Not everybody wants to be botting. Not everybody knows how to. Not everybody is interested in it. I personally think that a lot of these custom games right here are actually kind of being a bit stupid. So I looked this up earlier, but we know that Dota Card War is botting. Right, if we go Card War, yeah, this is obviously botting. The only custom, like the I guess most popular custom game I could find that isn't botting is Overthrow. Right, these are reasonable lobbies. This makes sense. This is what it should look like. Right, so Overthrow I believe isn't botting. If we come in here, right, then you can see that this is just some weird thing. But like Overthrow and Atomic War are the two most popular games that are not botting. Everything above this. Every single thing here, all of these games are botting. Now, personally, I just think to myself, well, why bother if you're not going to go all the way, right? Like, why bother botting 17 or 23 lobbies? Why not go all the way? Why not go to 75, right?
53 months.
Hey, Meet Your Fate. Thanks for the 53 months. Right, just, go nuts. But, yeah, I guess they don't want to do that. I don't know. If I was going to bot, I would go all the way. Still, the problem is that this forces everybody to bot, right? If you want to be on the top of the list, you're going to have to bot. And being on top of the list helps. It is significant. You've got this right here. This is custom rabbits versus sheep. This was released like 2 days ago. It's got 350 people playing right now. Look, I don't mean to be disrespectful right now, but this game needs some work. It's got a good concept, and honestly, it's reasonable enough. But dear God, it's new and you can tell. Despite that, it's being botted to 75 lobbies, and as such, it has a lot of players. I'm not saying that this game couldn't achieve the player numbers it has on its own, but I think it would be very unlikely. I'm saying that this game still requires a little bit of work, that it requires some more time invested into it. But you could also just bot your way to the top. Right? By allowing this, and by keeping things as they are, Valve is effectively forcing smaller custom games to say, well, either we are never going to be at the top of the list, we have a zero chance of ever making it, or we bot. It's kind of like doping in sports, right? Sometimes you will see idiots suggest that everybody should be allowed to dope in sports. Well, what you're then doing is you're forcing everybody to dope, which is not essentially, it's not really what people are looking for, right? Like, that's not really the point. The point of this is that you can make your game and get it out there, and then people can find a lobby and play it. The problem is that you need to scroll down like 30 fucking games before you have even a chance of popping up. And even then, you're probably actually down here. Because you're probably actually like a smaller game, right? You're down here, you hang out with, I don't know, what do you hang out with? Like one of these, right? This lobby list was a flawed system to begin with. It was a system that really was inevitably going to lead to this. Now that we are here, I think something needs to be done about it. I think this is shit. This is garbage. Like, this shouldn't be the way it is. And it annoys me, and I don't like it, and I wanted to complain about it. Anyway, I guess that's it. Is there anything else that I need to say, chat? Did I forget about anything? Yeah, that's what I wanted to complain about. I know, I'm always complaining. Sorry, guys. Look at this. This is silly. This is just so stupid. And it's been like kind of a slow power creep, right? I remember that, like, if we go back a few months, like, this didn't used to be 75 lobbies. It was like 20, 30, and then it slowly crept up until we are now at the cap. If you're gonna keep it this way, I think the bare minimum Valve can do is they should remove the cap. They should just get rid of the cap, right? Just remove the cap. That way, it's at least gonna be funny. I want to see people host 3 million lobbies because that's the only way to get to the top of the list. I want it to be a competition about who can afford to buy the most bots. Just because that would be ridiculous and kind of funny. It would be stupid, but not any more stupid than what we currently have. Anyhow, also that might actually make Valve do something about it. Anyway, yeah, that's just what I wanted to complain about. Fun stuff. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.